Hey folks, welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Evantz Saint-Gerard. My job as a realtor is to always look for things that are going to give value to my clients, whether they're buying or selling. Being that we're dealing with a lot of people, sellers, and a lot of times they're at a higher age bracket, they need different things in their homes sometimes. And sometimes before they sell, they want to know should, or while they're buying, and people are buying together, kids are buying with their parents, and they want to know what they can put in there to make their lives comfortable for them and for their parents. So I have my special guest. I'm going to let her introduce herself, how long she's been in the business, what's the name of her company, and everything in between. So, special guest, introduce yourself.
Hi, hello. I'm Kim Kester. I am the owner and president of 101 Mobility, and we're located in Farmingdale, right smack in the middle of Long Island, Queens, Brooklyn, everything. So we're accessible to Montauk to Manhattan, and I've been the owner for about 7 years now. And before that, I was the primary caregiver for my mother, father, grandmother. And so essentially, I did that for 2 decades, and I was the complete sandwich generation of the caregiver for the little ones and the big ones. I call them the little kids and the big kids. With that, the nice way of me saying this is my big kid job ended. And I call my new business my silver lining for all the experiences that I had walking through Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, cancer, and just pure golden old age. So I was the person at the discharge planning table trying to decide after, grandma has to go home or dad has to go home. What are they going back to? Are they able to get in the house? Are they able to get up to their bedrooms? Are they able to bathe safely in a shower, able to get in and out to take care of their daily activities of living. So those are the different things that my company addresses. We go through the whole house and we see the challenging places. More often than not, it's us against the steps. And we do all different types of things then. One-on-one mobility makes sure that people are as mobile and safe and independent as they can be. And with that, we modify the homes with wheelchair accessible ramps. We do installation of stair lifts. We do of the bathroom. Keep my company very small. I only have 5 employees and myself 6. So everyone is background checked and vetted, but we are a national franchise. So I have the reach of all across the nation, but what's most important is my local people. And that is, I have wonderful relationships with my 101 Mobility in White Plains. So, and also New Jersey, my neighbors, and we share stair lifts, wheelchair ramps, we share people, we share all different sorts of information. I rely on them all the time, and vice versa. You need a stair lift, I've got which model do you want, right? So we keep, that is ideal, is to keep my warehouse is filled with all my inventory of stair lifts and wheelchair ramps and grab bars and everything that we can stock that people are using most often. The straight stair lifts, we can, then when we have them in stock, we can install them within a week, right?
Okay.
And the key is, that's our day in, day out, is the wheelchair ramps and the stair lifts. So we can take care of them, installations in a week. Other things that may be more specific and customized, we order through our manufacturers that we represent multiple manufacturers. So we always go and customize what's right for the client, patient, whoever it might be.
One of the questions I want to ask is not really a question. You kind of mentioned this already because of your background, your personal background kind of fits with what you're doing right now. So who better basically to guide the people with, look, I went through this. I went through this. I know exactly what you're going through. Here's what you need to do. With that being said, mom and dad, should mom or dad still be living here is a question that people are asking. And so for me, I'm asking you, what are the signs that they should look out for basically when they're deciding
Well,
what's the next stage?
it is a tough question, and it's really, the answer is more, when you see it. I can't tell you how many phone calls I get Monday morning from the adult children who say, "Oh my God, I spent the weekend with my parents and we got to do something. This is bad." And I say, "What's bad?" And they're like, they're carrying novels and newspapers and cardigan sweaters up and down the stairs. And they're one they're one step away from a fall. And on the 15th step is no place to fall, because those falls are not, I can't, yeah, please call me before the fall is always
Right.
what I would say,
Well,
right? And
you
outs
also
of,
it's really interesting when you say that because basically I know personal experience. My parents, my mom, my grandma, when she was still alive, pretty much very independent. She was still trying to do her own cooking, and I think I speak for all Caribbean parents. Every parent, pretty much, they're very independent. They want to keep doing their own thing, even though they
hell yeah,
can't and shouldn't. They'll keep doing their own thing until
that's
we, the kids, have
right.
to step in.
Right.
So,
Well, that's the whole point of what I do. It's in order to give you independence. I can do it. I can manage the steps on my own. Okay. You sit down on the chair and you push the button and you're up and down safely. The whole idea here is the safety component. So it turns on the swivel on the top and they're turned around and they go in another direction. Off they go off the landing, and it's a safe circumstance. They're in a wheelchair, let's say, or they're walking in and out of the house. They have the handrails to take them, not just the 4 steps, but like, and it all depends upon what we've got we're talking about. Are they with the walker, the rollator? That is fantastic for the ramps, right? And they have the handrails for the wheelchair ramps are, you know, I've got to find a better word than corral, but that's kind of the best word there is, because, they can bang into
mm,
those side rails all they want. They're not going to go over, and they're not going to have the fall because they have their security that they're used to with their walker, their rollator, their cane, whatever it might be. And those handrails are everything.
okay,
So we customize every wheelchair ramp to make sure it's configured around their property from their front door, side door, back, in a way that goes over the grass. You don't want to be landing in the grass or pebbles, those ridiculous pebbles that they have on some driveways. You need to go to a surface that they can roll with and do so safely with those handrails. So that's the ramp. But the whole point of all of this is that they are safe in what they're doing. They're
okay,
independently taking care of themselves in a safe manner, and they're going out, they're engaging in life because they feel comfortable getting in and out of the house, as opposed to retreating into, they just seem to cut themselves off and make their world narrower and narrower. And also, for the love of God, put a lamp in that, in those rooms. They
yes,
go
definitely,
dark, and they do. They go
yeah.
dark and they go narrow, and I am the absolute opposite. Put a light on, pick up all those drop mats. Like, no, you don't need another bathroom mat. No, like, something else to trip on. But clear things away, put those grab bars everywhere. Love a grab bar. And make those modifications where the stairs are involved, so they can manage them with the rollator and the walker and the wheelchair and everything they use to their assistive devices, so that they can continue. Little tweaks, right? Just, you can carry on every bit as the way, good as the way you did, but just let's make small tweaks and adjustments.
Okay.
So that's my 2 cents.
All right, so I have a question that just came in. What's the biggest misconception families might have for aging in place?
For aging in place. So, I mean, the misconceptions I see are that I don't need help. I don't need those modifications. They're for old people. And these are the people in their 90s that are telling me that they don't need this because it's for old people. God bless. But by the same token, it's all based upon what your experiences are. So if I'm talking to a physical therapist, if I'm talking to anyone who has been a caregiver for an elderly family member, they all just skip right to the chase and say, what can you do? And give me the lowdown of what different things you could do, because they want to do everything they can to help keep their loved ones safe, because there's so much that can be done, and it's preventative. Everything is to prevent the fall. It's the people who have fortunately or otherwise not been fortunate to go through the getting older and making those modifications. If you've never done it, then, or you've never suffered really unnecessarily, you know where I'm getting? Like, if you've never
Mm,
had to contend with being old, then they have no frame of reference. And then they say that's for old people. Well, sweet love, you're old, you are unsteady, you're giving your daughter a heart attack watching you go up and down those steps, because it's just a matter of time. And then, right now, I always say, now you have choices, right?
yes.
You have the ability to make these decisions. And I also want to talk about pricing on everything too, because people in their minds, so often, I'm just going to speak for myself. I'll be in a situation where we're talking about all this stuff, but I don't even know if it's relating to me, because I don't know if I can afford it. So I do want to talk about pricings, but the misconception is that they don't need it when they really do. And then when they do have the options in front of them, until such time as they do fall, and then all of their choices are taken from them. Then they say, it's you're being brought by ambulance to the nearest hospital, and then you're going to go into rehab, and they're going to tell you what you can and cannot do. The whole game changes. So I say, keep keep as much wise prevention as you can. Let's keep your independence, keep things smart and safe.
I think that the difficult thing for people, I'm speaking for the kids, I'm speaking for you as well. I guess it's pretty much, as kids, we're concerned. We don't want to see anything happen to our parents or elderly in our family. But it is also, like the elderly, the older people do not want to listen to us kids because they think they know more than us, even though they are older than us. But I think they have to listen to us just like we listened to them when it was the other way around.
You
So I
need to
think for the
strike
people that are
deals.
watching this, yeah,
You need to strike
yeah, I
deals,
think so.
because you know if people it goes for staying in your home or also going to a new home, right? You have to strike
Yeah.
deals. Something's got to give, and you're just not 27 anymore, and you're unsteady, and or even instances you've fallen, right? And even a lot of times, that's when I do get people, is when they've fallen and not seriously hurt themselves, and it's like, that's the wake up call. Like, you got
Yeah.
lucky, you didn't really hurt yourself, so now let's take some action. But you could be in your house, or you could also be thinking about going to move into with your adult children, and what kind of things can be modified.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Let's
And then
say
there's
mom
also
and
a
dad.
third, I hate to interrupt, but there's a third option too, and that is going to a new house that, I don't need to tell you, Evans, it's location, 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 right? You
Yes.
love this house. It's right near your family. It's perfect in every way, where I want to be. Mm, But there's steps. Okay, so what? We can put a $2,200 ramp in, done, problem solved. Like, there's, that it's a barrier to entry, literally, that we can just have go away in the matter of 2 hours. And of course, I say 2,200, which is, can I talk about money now, or
It's up to you. It's if you want to. It's like, but before we get to there, basically, I just want to give people options. So pretty much, if mom and dad basically are living in their home, you feel a certain way, you don't want to leave them in the home by themselves. This is an option to do for them in that house. The other option is basically sell that property, take that extra money from the sale of that property, so you can afford the extra things and put them into your home if you have space for them in your home. Most
right?
likely, the kids are out in your little kids are out in college or
Yeah,
getting married, whatever the case is, and you have that extra space for mom and dad or grandma, grandpa, or
yep,
uncle, aunt, whoever it is, you want to move them into your space, and then you have those extra safety things, that the safety nets that we mentioned before. Or the third option, you sell the old house, sell your house, get a newer house that can fit everybody all together. There's a lot of options here. So let's talk about price.
yeah. So The basics, the day in, day out is the wheelchair ramp, the stair lift, and the tub conversion, the tub cut. I love those three because they give you the absolute most bang for your buck. So starting with that in and out of the house, the wheelchair ramp, it's aluminum, it's got the handrails, it's got the non-slip treads. Every single one that we create is customized to what fits your home. So there are suitcase ramps that are just straights, and they go, the longest length that they go is 10 feet. That's just one straight ramp. You have no handrails on the side. It's carried like a suitcase. It's meant to go in the trunk of your car. And they run from 2 feet to 10 feet. And they cost from $200 to, I think it's $900 for the 10-foot. But I hate them. I hate them. Why? Because there's
Not
no
stable.
handrails. There's no
Yeah.
handrails on them. I hate them. Everything is about those handrails. So the customization of coming out your front door everybody has 3 or 4 steps, and that's too steep to have a 10-foot straight. If you've got 3 or more steps, you're going to be going further out than 10 feet. But sometimes your walkway is such that it just goes the bottom step and then there's a turn. Okay, well, you now need a platform so that you can have that straightaway turn and then meet the walkway. So we come to the house. It's a free evaluation. We take measurements of how much ramp you need so that the grade is not too steep, right? We can't put grandma
Gotcha.
on a cliff, right?
No, we don't
We've
want to do
got to
that.
make sure, right? We've got to make sure she can grade, she can go from the walkway up those steps into the house. Okay. So they're priced according to how much ramp that you need. Ramps will run anywhere from, the 2 feet of $200 to, it could be $1,000 ramp with 2 change backs. I have pictures that I can show you,
Okay.
but
Well,
I always
let's
say
leave
call.
some stuff. Let's just leave some stuff basically for them to actually call you to find out more details. We don't want to give
Absolutely.
them
That's it.
everything.
It's exactly what I'm saying. Give us a call. We'll give you a quote, because everybody's going to be different. Okay. But where everybody's the same, if you have a straight staircase, the next step is how do you get in the house? That's fabulous. Now, how do you get up? If you're on the second floor, which so many of us are, how do you get up to the bedrooms? A chairlift. A straight stair lift is $3,450, including installation, brand new. But then I have pre-owns that I sell according to price. They can be 3 years old and $1,000 less. So you can be installed at $2,400. And I also have rental programs. I have rentals also. The rentals carry the stair lifts, carry 3-month minimum time period, $225 a month. It's a great option because it could get you over a hurdle if you're dealing with rehab. And the other thing I love is when you've got a resistant parent and they say,
Yep.
I don't need that. You say, all right, well, let's just get past this one corner, just appease me. Like, just make me happy for 15 minutes and let's just rent it. So you rent it for 3 months, see how it goes. Wait till you see what happens. They send their laundry up and down the stair lift on it. They put their books and they said they have their little remotes, and then the grandkids are going up and down it. It's the most fantastic thing in the house. Okay. But that's all right. Then after they rent it, they say, I don't want to give this up. And I say, great, let's buy it out. And then you have a pre-owned and it's less expensive. You already did the installation. You don't have to pay for that. And it works out well for everybody involved. Then the
So
third
there's an
thing that
option for everybody.
yeah, yeah. The third thing I really, really love are the tub conversions, the tub cuts. Because if you're in a situation where your bathing is in that tub and you have to hurdle up and over into that tub, that's not a good scenario. So it's exactly like it sounds. It's a cut out of the tub. We put an adhesion over it. Looks almost like the molding. Okay. And it covers that tub cut and it makes it so it's just this small side step. that it's like a threshold step. You just go in, you put your shower curtain up, and you could be with somebody to assist them. You don't, you're not up and over. And then, what do you have? A whole situation. So those three things, the tub cut's $2,200. I mean, and the biggest thing with the tub cut is that we can do it in 2.5 hours.
I was gonna ask you, how long does it take for everything? The tub cut, you mentioned 2.5 hours. The actual.
So great.
So Kim, you gave us a lot of information, and I know a lot of people are gonna have a lot of questions, especially for their elderly. Maybe they want to plan for themselves. But my question to you, well, to everybody who's watching this, if you're thinking about modifying your parents' home or selling it, I highly recommend that you connect with Kim and her team at 101 Mobile Mobility, Long Island. They've done an incredible job just walking us through basically the process, and they obviously do it with compassion, clarity. So my question to anybody, if you have any questions to them for her team, learn how to give her a call, schedule a free consultation. Kim, what's your phone number that they can reach you?
It's 516 500 3100.
And your
And
and your website?
it's 101mobility.com /Long
Backslash.
Island.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'm Evan Saint-Gerard, your real estate agent here, always to give you some value, whether you're selling, you're relocating, or you're just planning stuff for your parents, for yourself, for whoever. When it comes to selling a home, feel free to give me a call. You have questions, you have just scenarios that you want to go through. We cover as much information as possible because we know that selling a house is not easy. You need to get as much information as possible, especially if you're planning to move the parents out of their home, put them into your home, or just buying a new home altogether and just making sure that they're comfortable, you're comfortable, and your kids are comfortable. Everybody's comfortable. So with that being said, give me a call. My number is 917-975-5985. I'm a New Yorker. I know I talk too fast sometimes, so I'll slow it down. 917-975-5985. You can also reach me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I'm probably forgetting one. LinkedIn. I'm pretty much anywhere in social media. You can find me at Evantz Sells Homes. And also our website is mynyhomesales.com. Kim, thank you so much for sharing as much
Thank you.
information as you could. This is not an easy topic to talk to or talk about, especially with our parents. Because
Totally.
if your parents are like my parents, it's gonna be an uphill battle. But you have professionals like Kim that can help and guide you to have that conversation. And it's always about the conversation. I just want to
Awesome.
say thank you everybody for watching. Kim, thank you for your time, for being on this.
Thank you.
Next thing everybody has to do is pick up their phone, give Kim a call, give me a call. Let's start that convo.
Wonderful. Thank you